Well, people are starting to ask questions after listening to this. The calls are coming in, so let's go ahead and take our first call. This is from Mark.
What I'm calling about is I was riding in a car with my buddy, and he hydroplaned on the water and went over and had a head-on collision. And I've got a broken ankle and a messed up hip, and I'm wondering, how much is his insurance liable for my injuries as a passenger in his vehicle?
And what advice do you have for Mark?
Sounds to me like his friend, and I know this is going to be an uncomfortable situation for you and your friend, Mark, is 100% responsible for your injuries because he was probably driving too fast under rainy or wet conditions and hydroplaned and went across and hit somebody else. And so normally a passenger in Mississippi is 0% at fault. The only exception to that is if the passenger, and you didn't say anything about this, so I assume it didn't happen, if the passenger is doing something to distract, or maybe there's an argument and hit the driver. There's a well-known case, it may have been before some of y'all were around here, but the Irby case where there were some allegations of a husband and wife at the time who were fighting back and forth, and that may have caused or contributed to a very serious wreck. But if you don't have that, then I think you're not at fault. Your driver is probably 100% at fault, unless there's something that the other driver that y'all hit did something to contribute to the wreck, but I'm not hearing anything about that. So one of the biggest causes of wrecks that I've handled, and I've done over 1,000 of these things over the years, is speed and not being aware of your conditions, and certainly distracted driving. Those are probably, speed is probably the biggest one, because the formula is 60 miles an hour is 88 feet per second, something like that. For you math people out there.
People are not thinking about that when they're driving.
Well, that's like a football field in 3 or so seconds, and so many bad things can happen if you're looking in the back seat or you're looking down or you're on your cell phone, that so many of these cases that I have are preventable. And that's really, when you go to trial, that's what you talk about is, we shouldn't even be here today, because had somebody been driving a little slower, or driving the speed limit, or not looking at their phone, they would have been able to stop in time, or they wouldn't have gone across the road. And so a lot of these tragedies, a lot of these injuries that I see shouldn't even have happened.
And he mentioned hydroplaning, and it goes back to know your conditions as well.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.